All right, lesson 9.3 is circles. Now, just like when we studied parabolas, all of the circles that we're going to work with will have a radius. The center of the circle will be at the vertex. Okay, well, you can move that center. The center can actually be moved anywhere in the graph that the equation allows or the equation requires. But for our purposes, the only ones that we are going to be working on is the center for a radius at the center 0. The centers at the origin. So first of all, the center of the circle is right in the, basically it's in the middle, but it's the point where all of the points on the circle is the same distance away from the center. Okay, that's what makes it a circle, and that distance from the center is called the radius. Basically goes from the center to any point on the circle. Okay. Now, if you remember a couple of lessons ago, we had the distance formula. So if this was our center and we had some point on the circle, and we're going to call that point xy because it could be any point anywhere on that circle, and the problem will change. Okay. Now this is going to work. Remember, our center is at 0, 0. Okay. So all we need to do is to find the radius or the distance of that radius. So our distance, instead of it being a d, we're going to make it an r to stand for our radius. Okay. Because this is our radius right here. Okay. So if we go ahead and plug in, okay, we'll call this one our second xy. So x1, y1, or x2, y2. This will be x1, y1. Okay. So x2 is x minus x1 is 0, and I'm going to square it. Plus, this equals r. Plus, my y2 is y minus 0, and I'm going to square it. Okay. So r equals x minus 0 is just x. So I get x squared plus y minus 0 gives me y squared. And then in order to get rid of the radical sign, I'm going to square this side, and I have to square this side. So if you take r squared, actually equals x squared plus y squared. And that's the equation of a circle. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at an example, because there's a couple things that you can get out of this. One, you should be able to write the equation of a circle. But more importantly, you should actually be able to graph an equation. And really, all you have to do, you got to remember that on all of the ones that we're doing in this video, the center is going to be at 0, 0. Okay? So it's a good idea to go ahead and plot that point. And then remember, the equation is, so this is x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Well, if r squared equals 36, remember to solve it, we just take the square root. So our radius is going to be 6. Now remember, if you take the square root of a number, it's actually a positive or negative 6. But in this case, the negative doesn't work because you can't have a negative distance. So we have to have a positive. And then to graph this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're just going to go in all different directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then to make sure that I go ahead and get this perfect. Now, you don't have to use a compass. I'm not requiring you to use a compass. But just to show you that what this is going to end up with is it's going to end up with a circle. Oops. It's going to end up as a circle. Okay? So it's just a tad bit off, but you guys get the idea that this is going to be our circle then. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and try graphing the next one for us. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this one. On this one, we're going to graph remember, our center is at 0, 0. So 0, 0. And then r squared equals 9. So all I'm doing is taking the square root. So our radius is 3. So I'm going to go in each direction. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use the compass to go ahead and draw this. And then let's see if I can get this one a little bit better. So that was a little closer. Okay, so that's pretty much all it is to graphing circles. Okay, all right. The second part of this, our second objective that we wanted to do was we actually wanted to clean this up a little bit. Actually wanted to go ahead and write the standard form of the equation of a circle that passes through 4, 0 and has a center at 0, 0. Well, all you've got to do is you've got to find that distance. So all you're going to do is you need this one here, okay? You're just going to plug it in the formula. So we're going to plug it into the circle formula. Let's try this again. So we're going to plug it into the circle formula. Okay? Remember, this is our x, and this is our y. So if my formula is x squared plus y squared equals r squared, then x is going to be 4 squared, y is 0 squared, and that equals r squared. Okay? 4 squared is 16, 0 squared is 0, and that equals r squared. So 16 equals r squared. And since I actually have to plug the r squared into this equation right here, then my final answer, because I'm writing the equation to represent all the points on the circle, then it looks just like that. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and try the next example. All right. So in this example, remember, all we're going to do is plug it into our equation. Or x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So x squared is negative 5 squared plus negative 5 squared, and that's going to give me my radius squared. So negative 5 squared. And remember, you're taking negative 5 times negative 5. This is not, make sure you put it in the calculator correctly if you're doing it. So you should get a positive 25. Plus negative 5 squared, again, is 25, and that's going to equal r squared. 25 plus 25 gives us our 50. So now that we have our radius squared, our equation to represent all the points on the circle is going to be x squared plus y squared equals 50. Okay? All right. Well, that concludes circles. So go ahead and do some practice problems and take a look at the quick check.